Ladies and guys who are scared of hitting on women in public. Andy here, author of the best Tinder guide on the internet. This is the Kill Your Inner Loser show. Let's fucking go. So we're going to talk about approach anxiety and how it comes in many different forms. If you don't know what I mean by approach anxiety, it's that feeling you get when you see a woman in public that you want to talk to and you're about to go up and say hey to her. So we call that approach anxiety because you're obviously approaching her and it makes you anxious. But it comes in many different forms. And guys who've never done it before, or who've only ever talked to a couple of women in public that they don't know, they think that it's just this like general fear that I just will feel anxious or I'll feel scared and I'm just being a pussy and I need to just make myself go and do it and eventually it'll go away. But what people find when they actually start talking to women and start hitting on girls is you will it comes in this anxiety comes in many different forms. And what you find is you'll get good at talking to girls in a certain situation, like maybe when everything is perfect. But then if you just change one of the variables, all of a sudden it's like your anxiety gets reset and you're back to square one. So let's say you talk to a couple of girls who are sitting down on a bench or something. You walk up, you sit down next to them, you say, hey, how's it going? You're super cute. I'm Andy. What are you up to today? You talk for a bit and you ask for her phone number. Maybe that gives you a bit of anxiety because you've never really done it much before. You do that a couple of times. You get like semi-decent with it. And then you see a girl who's like walking past you or something. And even though you've just gone and talked to like, let's say 3 girls who are sitting down and you got like okay at it and you think like, yeah, I can probably do that again. This girl's walking towards you. And all of a sudden these weird voices will come into your head. You're like, oh, well, she's walking. I can't bother her. She's going too quickly. I won't be able to chase after her. I don't want to annoy her. I don't even know how to stop a girl who's walking. Maybe she's going somewhere important. That's approach anxiety. And those seem like rational thoughts in your head, but they're not. They're just one of the many forms of approach anxiety, the way that it manifests. And it manifests in many different ways. Maybe there's a woman that's really, really, really hot. And you see her, and even though you've talked to, let's say, 20 women in the past, you've hit on 20 girls, but you've never hit on one as hot as her. And these weird thoughts come into your head. Oh my gosh, she's too hot for me. She probably already has a boyfriend. I'd be annoying her. I'm not good enough for someone like her. Why would she talk to a guy like me anyway? She probably has like a really fucking hot boyfriend. I'd just be annoying her. You know, I bet she hangs out. I bet she'll go and tell all her hot friends that some weird guy hit on her. Like, that's approach anxiety. That's another manifestation of your anxiety. Maybe you see a girl in a supermarket, in a grocery store, and you want to talk to her, but you think, fuck, I can't. There's like people around. Plus, it's a supermarket. It's weird. I can't do it. What if someone hears me? No, she's probably just like shopping for her groceries. I don't want to bother her. I don't even know how I'd approach her anyway. How do I even talk to a girl in a supermarket? I don't know what to do. That's another form of approach anxiety. Maybe you see this a lot. You'll be going down, or a girl will be going down an escalator and you want to talk to her, but you're like, fuck, it's an escalator. I don't know how to do it. How do I even do it? Do I jump in front of her? Do I tap her on the shoulder? Do I wait till we get down the bottom? That's approach anxiety. So it's always, I won't say funny to me, but it's always entertaining. And I don't mean that in a bad way. I hope you guys see that I mean that in a good way. It's entertaining to me when I take some guy out or something, or even if I just push one of my coaching clients online to talk to girls. And they will go out and they'll do a really good job of the first couple. And then some variable will change, or they'll be in some new situation. Like, you know, she's sitting down or she's eating lunch or she's listening to music. That one comes up a lot. And they'll be completely reset to square one. They'll be like, fuck, Andy, I've talked to like 5 girls and I was decent at it. And I was kind of semi-comfortable, where I was getting comfortable. But then this weird thing threw me for a loop. You know, she looked at... That's another one that comes up. She made eye contact with me and I freaked the fuck out. She looked at me when I was walking towards her and I just panicked and like turned and walked the other way. It's always interesting to me. I shouldn't have said entertaining. It's interesting to me how much of this shit comes up, or how many different forms of approach anxiety there are. And everybody seems to have their own version or their own manifestations of approach anxiety, their own situations that kind of fuck them up or throw them for a loop. For me, I really struggled to talk to girls at train stations. For some reason, that was just fucking hard for me. And so I had to do it a bunch of times, and then I got decent at it. I was always really good at talking to girls in supermarkets, but for some reason, that throws a lot of guys off, and they just can't do it. I was always really good at talking to girls who were going down an escalator, but for a lot of guys, that fucks them up. I was always good at talking to girls who were listening to music. I would just kind of tap them on the shoulder, or I'd wave my hand in front of their face and I'd kind of go like this. I'd motion for them to, if you're listening to the audio, I'm motioning for them to, like, I put my hands in my ears and motion for them to take their headphones out. That was always comfortable for me, but some guys that fucks up. I would get nervous and really struggle if a girl was smoking a cigarette. I know that sounds incredibly specific, and that's the point of this podcast. This shit is like, it's almost funny how specific some of these anxieties can be. But I'd see a girl smoking a cigarette, and for some reason, I was just like, I can't talk to her. She's too cool for me. I don't know why I associated cigarettes with being cool, but it was just like, she's too cool for me. Same with girls with tattoos. I was like, I can't talk to her. She's like, she's got tattoos. She's probably too cool for me. Like, she doesn't want to talk to a loser like me. So anxiety pops up in different forms that depend on the person. And what I want you guys to be aware of when you start talking to girls, when you go outside and start hitting on them for like the first time ever, really, or maybe you've done it a little bit before, but you're getting back into it, be aware of those like lies in your own head, those weird voices, that voice that comes in and says like, oh, you can't talk to her because she's too hot, or she's smoking, or she's walking too fast, or she's listening to music, or she's not your type, or nah, she's probably busy, or she probably has a boyfriend, or maybe she's in a rush, like any of that shit. Those are all, they seem rational, or they seem like logical reasons for you not to talk to her. And when they're in your head, you think they're rational. You think like, yeah, that's a good reason not to talk to her. Otherwise, I wouldn't have thought of that. But they're lies. They're limiting beliefs. They're just forms of approach anxiety. What you need to do is call them out. Call your own limiting beliefs out and say like, can I really not talk to her just because she's smoking a cigarette? Or is that just a fucking weird thought that's in my head? Am I really just scared? And of course you're going to be scared. It's normal to be scared. It would be weird if you weren't scared. It would be psychopathic if you weren't scared. So completely normal to be scared, but you need to challenge those limiting beliefs, challenge those thoughts. Even though that voice seems logical, it seems like a good reason not to talk to this girl. Yeah, she's sitting down and you don't want to annoy her. That seems rational. That seems logical. But it's a bullshit limiting belief. You're never going to bother someone if you politely say, hey, you're super cute. I'm Andy. What are you up to today? That's about as polite as you could ever fucking be. And if she's not interested, obviously walk away. If she says I have a boyfriend, walk away. If she says, can you please not bother me? Walk away. But as long as she's happy to talk to you, she turns to you and she smiles. She says, hey, nice to meet you. Then why would you be bothering someone? If a girl is walking too fast and you think, oh, she's going too fast, here's a fucking 400 IQ answer. Jog after her. Oh my God. Oh, I can't believe I thought of that. But yeah, jog after her. I took a guy out recently. There's a video on my channel, a guy called Playtime is Over. And I took him out talking to girls. He'd never talked to any in his entire life. And I got him, he talked to like 20 over a couple of days with me, 2 days with me. And the excuses or the seemingly logical rationalizations he had for not talking to girls, like some of them were just, they sound utterly insane. And that's the point. Approach anxiety, it seems logical, but to someone else, it's utterly insane. He said things like, she's going too fast, she's walking too fast. So I said, well, fucking jog after her then. Hurry up. Come on, hurry up. Or he'd say like, she's sitting down, I can't bother her. Sit down next to her and say hello. She's too hot. Well, go and get shot down then. Go get rejected by that hot girl. It's better than not trying. She's on the phone. Well, just like wait till she fucking finishes her phone call and then say hello. She's eating lunch. Then just say, hey, sorry to interrupt you. Or, hey, I don't want to disturb your lunch or anything. I'll be super quick. You're really cute. Can I get your phone number? We'll grab a drink sometime. Like, there's ways around this anxiety, and they seem like that voice, your anxieties seem rational, but they never are. And so another thing you can do is take a friend out with you. I'm a big fan of going out with a fucking wingman, if you want to call it that. Just take a mate out with you, or take a coach, hit me up if you want. Go out with someone else. And and obviously tell them that you're going to talk to girls, like go out to talk to girls together. But when the anxiety comes up, obviously you're going to have to tell your friend why you're pussying out on that girl, why you're not talking to her. And sometimes it's just vocalizing the reason, like, oh, she's sitting down, I can't talk to her. You'll say it, and then you'll immediately go like, that sounds insane. That's stupid, isn't it? And that's what most guys that I take out to do this stuff end up doing. They'll tell me the excuse or the anxiety, and then they'll look at me and they'll kind of smile, and they'll be like, that's bullshit, isn't it? And I'll be like, and then they'll go and talk to the girl. So having someone else out there with you, whether that's me, definitely recommend going out with a friend. Like, it's pretty easy most guys have a mate that will go out with them. Even if that guy's never talked to girls ever, Just tell your mate, like, hey, will you come out with me? You don't have to talk to girls. I'd like it if you did, but you don't have to. Just like push me to talk to some girls. And often your mate will, just having that mate there makes you talk to 5 or 10 times more girls than you would have by yourself. I can't tell you how many fucking hundreds of times I went out with my friends just so that I could talk to girls. I must have done it, honestly, 200 times. Like gone out like 200 times with friends. I did that for at least half of my approaches. I did like half by myself and then half with friends, because it just makes it so much easier, because you don't make dumb excuses. Or you will go to make the dumb excuse. You get halfway through the sentence and you go, oh, fuck this. Okay, fine. I'm going to talk to her. Or you'll say it and your friend will be like, that's fucking dumb, bro. Go talk to that girl. Stop being an idiot. Go. Don't be a little pussy. Go. And you'll just do it. So approach anxiety comes in many forms. It manifests itself in many different ways, but most of them are bullshit. They're just your limiting beliefs. What I want you guys to do is say the belief out loud and then say to yourself, does that have to be true? Or is there a way I could get around that? If she is sitting down, can I not just go sit down next to her? Or if there are people listening, can't I just either not care what they say or just maybe talk quietly, be discreet? If you really care that much, you don't have to charge in there screaming, yo, you fucking sexy bitch. Can I have that pussy, bitch? Because, yeah, maybe people will listen if you yell that. You have to clap your hands and say, listen up, everybody. I'm about to hit on this chick. Everybody circle around and watch me. You can do it with nobody fucking watching. So there's always an answer to every different manifestation of approach anxiety. Your mission is to slay every single one of those dragons. Think of each one as a dragon. Slay all of them. And then eventually you get to a point where you're comfortable in like 95% of situations hitting on girls. That's all you ever really need to get to. If you want to crush that 100%, go for it. But I'm only comfortable in like 90% of situations talking to girls. I never hit on girls who are with their friends. I've done that like twice ever. I don't like to do that. I don't want to do that. You don't have to crush every single different form of anxiety, but as long as you crush like 90 to 95%, you're fucking golden, honestly. So go out there, slay those dragons, talk to some cuties. Don't let the seemingly logical, but really just bullshit excuses and limiting beliefs hold you back. And as always, go out there, crush your goals, guys.